No, that is the carpool lane. Yeah, the southbound 605. Both sides of the 605 have
How fast?
lanes
Oh, 120.
the entire duration
No way.
of the freeway. You're now being told this is a Hyundai Sonata, and we have heard
Oh, yeah, this shit will fuck.
began
This
in the
shit
city
can't
of
turn.
Riverside. So, you know, if it began with their police department, or if you know, CHP, it could have been an instance where
They're not terrible.
You know, the victim of the carjacking called this in to the authorities, and then it was put on their radar. Perhaps the CHP cruiser.
You're not gonna see some high-speed turns. No high-speed turns with this one.
It is believed to be a potentially violent crime. This is one of those ones that they're not
Not
going to
what you
let go of very easily. They're going to want to, you know, take this one as far as it goes, you know, despite the danger to folks out here. So,
oh, whoa!
As the unit,
yeah, the unit
getting
is
over there to the far right, and they might be. Yeah, it looks like they might be switching out units here. Let's see.
Oh, maybe he wants to see it in the front cabin and see what's going on.
Another unit involved in this.
He's not gonna pit him anymore. On. There's no shot.
And it's now Sheriff's 22 who's been on this from the air, handed off from Ontario Police's helicopter. They were the ones that were over.
Wait, why not? There's like a million reasons why not.
But it's now in LA County, so it's LA County Sheriff's deputies. We'll see if CHP
heavy traffic.
Their helicopter to get involved this as well.
Isn't, as far as they can tell, a immediate massive danger to the population, like shooting at people.
They also have
not
fixed-wing aircraft that is
violence. No gun that we know of.
Kind of, you know, heat-seeking, not heat-seeking, infrared
fast
technology, I should say. So we'll see how many resources they decide to devote on this, but we are still flying along the southbound 605 now through Whittier.
Yeah, Desmond, it looks like occasionally we will see that driver use their blinker here. A moment ago, they actually had the right blinker going. Doesn't look like they're actually moving to the right there.
Appreciate that.
But it definitely looks like more CHP officers are now following this vehicle. I think once Desmond had pulled out for a bit, we saw maybe 3 or 4 behind the vehicle, and you can see they're
just wait till the fucking acorn lands on the fucking hood.
They're kind of riding on the side. Normally they're right behind them, so you kind of wonder if they're positioning for a pit, but you wouldn't think they would because of just the high rate of speed right now.
Or maybe they just want that driver to make sure that
I'm hit.
He can see that there's a lot of law enforcement behind him there. And I'm starting to see, Leslie, I don't know if you noticed too, like traffic's getting a little heavier too.
Yeah.
We saw some big rigs, look a lot more cars here on the freeway. And as Des was telling us, officers are not going to let this one go due to the violent nature of how this all got started, because it's a carjacking suspect.
Chat, I don't think it's on the server. I'm gonna log out and log back in when
it's
ready.
Weapon they used, but it's serious enough that they're not just going to let this one go. Like we've seen other times when they do something like this.
Yeah, and you can see that car kind of.
This guy's not totally right about this.
But they've covered a lot of ground right now, coming all the way from Riverside, now in Whittier.
Yeah. They've let people the exact thing go away all the time.
So this is a lot of ground in a quick amount of time, given they are going 100+ miles per hour. And you see them just weaving in and out of traffic here, as you mentioned.
Carjackings.
Traffic definitely getting heavier now that they're
in the
all
the time.
county area. And it does become more dangerous for those people on the roadways.
And we're seeing larger trucks too. We're seeing big rigs. We just saw that car carrier fully loaded with cars as well. So any quick maneuver by this car going out of control could cause quite a bit of a problem there
Looks like
on
some
the
construction
605 freeway.
on the 605 here in that left lane. You can see those cones up.
Entering the cone zone there, Desmond, huh?
Desmond, it looks like this driver.
He's gonna go in city.
Go ahead, Des.
It is that time of the evening when Caltrans gets out there on the roadways, you know, to do their kind of typical maintenance work. I believe we're going to be transitioning here to the 5 freeway. It looks like maybe to get out of that cone zone, which is definitely a fortuitous thing for the
here
workers.
Comes in city, boys.
It looks like we're going to be transitioning out to the northbound 5.
Could they pit here if they had a chance, Desmond?
Fuck no.
You know, I don't think there's really enough room right there. Kind of a little bit too narrow there with the sound wall and that right shoulder guardrail. As we now make the transition headed through Downey and up towards Commerce and the East LA interchange.
3 years,
so out of the construction zone, at least. We'll see if there's any other road work ahead. Looking immediately ahead, I don't see anything that's going to
slow the
driver
pit
down. Although we are looking at slower speeds.
It's to immobilize the car, not to kill the fucking driver.
From the law enforcement, from what we've heard,
if it's a tough turn, even at medium speeds, you don't want the guy to ram into the fucking shoulder.
Element to this as well, and we're hearing that the victim is the suspect's girlfriend, and that there is also a warrant out for this suspect's arrest already. So this is a known suspect, which kind of gives you kind of clues you in on why this suspect is acting so desperately right now. Back up to 100 miles an hour, just as I was saying. We were slowing down. Now things beginning to really heat up again
Where
here
is Chris?
On the 5 freeway, where there could be traffic
Chris?
at any time of day or night. So, again, that's
it's not Valentine's Day anymore. Oh, it is in LA, yeah.
With the suspect's the victim being the girlfriend of the suspect, and also outstanding warrants.
Wow.
Now, Des, I know that this is carjacking, but did they say if the victim, the girlfriend, they're possibly in the car, or they believe no one but that suspect is in that vehicle right now?
We have not heard that part yet. If the suspect is the only one in the vehicle, I would have to imagine that she's not in the vehicle and that she's probably the one that called this in. But we'll have to try to work to confirm those details. But that would be my guess, is that
and that's
there was
rough,
some
bro.
kind of altercation outside
That's rough,
the vehicle.
bro.
He took the vehicle,
and that's
she
her
was
car, most likely.
left outside, and then called the authorities. Yeah, exactly.
And we are seeing a little heavier traffic there, Desmond. You were mentioning we're heading north up towards Commerce. Of course, there's the Commerce Casino.
It sucks. You lost your car, okay?
And
but
every time I go through
it's
that
a Hyundai.
area,
It could have been worse. It could have been the McLaren, to be honest.
Slow down quite a bit, whether you're heading northbound or southbound. It's just
it is what it is.
It's well populated. A lot more cars. Fewer lanes of freeway is right there on the 5 freeway, but it looks like he's going still at a brisk speed of anywhere from 80 to 95 miles an hour. And as we've been mentioning, those officers not backing down one bit.
Yep, I mean, basically, slamming on the gas pedal wherever they get the opportunity to get around some vehicles. And indeed, this section actually of the 5 freeway between East LA and the 605 has been rated as Caltrans as one of, if not the busiest stretches of roadway in the country. So that's what I mean. You could see traffic at any time, and then if they have road work out here,
up in that car, it's still frozen.
Traffic down. Although I don't believe that is the case tonight. We will be.
It's a little bit legally complicated.
Passing by Commerce Casino.
If I tell you it's not, no one makes sense to you.
The 710, and then a decision to be made at the East L interchange if they're going to transition to the 5 Golden State Freeway, or the the Santa Monica Freeway, or the 101 towards downtown LA. And, again, this started in Riverside, and this took a very indirect way to get here from Riverside. They didn't come along the 91 or the 60. The suspect went all the way up to the 210, and then, went west, and then
because
circled
the
back
way
south,
the LA titles are made on cars.
So definitely a interesting kind of selection of roadway that we've traveled so far this evening. Quite a few miles. And when we start to travel that many miles, you start to wonder how much gas this suspect has in the tank, how long they can keep.
The car was a frozen asset.
Because this can also be pretty mentally taxing to be driving a vehicle for this long
and
at that high speed.
Yeah, many times these suspects just wanting to get away, especially if
guys, the asset was frozen.
Has a warrant out
because it's a bullshit legal thing, right?
Possibly something else.
So then the car cannot be driven.
At this point, you can see
it has to stay where it's at. It's not moving.
But I'll tell you this:
this
stretch of roadway too, with how fast.
But the way that LA car titles are made,
there's a lot of
I think it's like a title which is something or somebody. So me or somebody. And then
that will be something that
if the car wasn't dealt with. When it was unfrozen,
eventually he's going to make it into downtown LA. Right,
there's a chance that
southbound, where he
somebody could have yoinked.
Evening Valentine's Day traffic.
So it has to remain frozen until it's correctly dealt with, and then unfrozen, and that takes time.
You can have a little bit of residual traffic right there at the 4 level, the intersection with the 110. Here's the junction with the 710, that weird one that's on the left. So it looks like they're going to stick with the 5. So, very possible to hit some slowing if they do go up towards, the 101 in downtown Los Angeles. We'll see what happens when we get there. We will be there soon enough. And, you were saying, Leslie, definitely this is not known as being a very pristine, well-kept.
You have to correct the title ownership before unfreezing the assets. There you go.
Potholes or anything, or certainly any kind of junk or debris in the roadway at any point. I did want to note that earlier, I kind of got the impression
they won't let him go, but this guy's stalling.
Moving around, it did almost look like the southbound 605 back through Whittier, like maybe they were trying to get in position.
Get the car back when they get the car back. It is what it is. I'm not gonna hold my guys. I'm 28. I can't wait 3 years for fucking
might be
trivial things like cars that come back. I gotta just keep living my life.
Very, very difficult for them.
That's why I bought the Lambo, because fuck it, I don't give a shit.
It just all kind of depends on what the suspect's
cars,
move is going to be.
items, things you can always buy, and money you can always make it. Time you can never get back.
Here, as we, get from Riverside to Baldwin Park, and then East LA, and now we'll be coming into CHP's central area. They are definitely privy to everything going on, and we'll see what, if any, plan they have to get involved with this.
So yeah, it sucks,
officers
but
have to keep in mind this could be a possibly heated suspect they're looking at. This is possibly stemming tonight.
I just wish people weren't just shitty. I don't know to tell you.
Sort, where we understand the girlfriend of this suspect apparently called police after some sort of altercation. The suspect either took off in this car, whether it's hers or not, we don't know, but it's being considered a carjacking suspect, so I'm guessing it might be her car he took off in, and he's been on the run since Riverside, since the city of Riverside, which is quite a lot of distance to cover in a very short amount of time, going at speeds of anywhere from 80 to, we even said 130 miles an hour, getting closer now into the downtown LA area. You can see the interchanges right there in the shot, but officers
this guy's not doing anything yet.
Up, and again, the concern is, what do you see there, Leslie?
I was just wondering if he was staying on the 5 here.
Chat, if anything happens.
Yes. Yes, we are staying on the 5.
I got to prep for after tsunami actions.
Roadway, that awful section where the 5 goes down to only 2 lanes. That is where we are getting into right now. It looks like they're, you see the 101 freeway there off to the left. So we're transitioning from the Santa Ana freeway to the Golden State freeway.
The only problem that I have is that you think that I enjoy doing legal shit and like legal battles and garbage. Nobody wants that. Like, I do wish things were dealt with properly so that it wouldn't go anywhere like that. It sucks. I don't know who said that. I'm just telling you. I'm deliberately telling you.
But it just kind of seems like the suspect. I mean, we're so far away now from where this began. If there's that did the pit maneuver, we'll see what CHP decides to do next.
Take a look at that.
We're on the freeway. Look at that! Wow, they actually did it. That's
the pit looks like they're gonna pit here.
They're gonna pit. Here we go.
On the freeway. Look at that.
Man, this guy, this driver actually sucks.
I've ever seen it happen. They were telling us that the last couple of minutes between going up on the curb.
Well, here's the pit one more time. We're showing our viewers this happening just a short time ago. Desmond telling us in all his time up in SkyCal, this is only the 4th time they've seen officers do a pit maneuver on a freeway at these speeds. And as you see there, that tire tread just to the left of the car there, just falling right off. And for a second, we thought, Leslie, that was it.
Yeah,
it was over.
You would think the car can't go anymore, right? You saw the big chunk of that tire thread just completely fall off. You wouldn't think the car could keep going, but you see the back bumper there, as Des was describing, pretty much just trailing behind this Hyundai here, Hyundai Sonata.
I don't know what could have possibly happened for him to fucking steal his girlfriend's car.
Front right driver tire there. We wonder, is it even there? What's left of it?
Well, we're thinking it's a rim, right? And there's still 3 good tires where we assume that this driver can still stay on. And my guess is, Desmond, with 3 tires, that rim can go for a little longer, right? Because
that's Brandon.
Sparks, coming.
Hey, imagine if she's wrong with him and he does that. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it definitely can. I mean, we've seen it so many times where, oh, pit maneuver, or rather spike strip. Oh, that's going to be it, right? And then no, it's actually going to continue for a while if the suspects, really want to push it that far. Where we could see
self-destructive. I can relate to that.
On asphalt and sparks flying all over the place, and could even continue for another dozen miles or so after that. Depending on the vehicle and how sturdy those rims are. I mean, we've even seen suspects continue when it basically gets down to the brake caliber. We're kind of locked into this position right now for spacing with other aircraft, but we'll see. If there might still be a little bit of rubber on that front passenger side tire, but we did see quite a bit of tire tread come off at the end of that pit maneuver, and not only that, but this hazard in waiting with this bumper that is now hanging on. So despite all that,
where's the traffic flow? I don't.
I was gonna say they had to. Yeah,
they can shut it down that quick.
So
dumb.
So pretty open roadways here. And we'll just see if CHP wants to try another pit maneuver if they get the opportunity. But again, that was such a rare thing. I'd be surprised if we see it again.
It's crazy to see this because that entire back bumper is
just
being
holding
dragged by the car, just holding on by a tiny portion on the right side of that vehicle. And we are getting a better look at this right side because we believe that front tire, we saw a lot of the tread come off, so you wonder how much of it is left there. But it's incredible sometimes that these cars can still go 70+ miles per hour with just three tires. And a bumper hanging on.
And I'm guessing this bumper is also dragging on the freeway, making large, loud noises, which also
not
adds
the
to just the
noises.
intensity, the adrenaline level of this driver here, wanted for a domestic violence incident earlier today in the city of Riverside.
Yeah, for now, yeah, thank you.
The victim's girlfriend apparently calling police, and before police arrived, the suspect jumped into what we believe is the girlfriend's car and took off. And here we are now in Woodland Hills.
Oh, wait.
Distance. You were saying, Leslie, about
75
miles away from Riverside. And this driver has a warrant out for his arrest on another incident. So we're talking about, the domestic violence incident from tonight, the arrest warrant from prior incident, and now the pursuit and the carjacking, and who knows what he did to take this car by force.
Yeah, and the desperation level, you can just see it here. The pit maneuver was done. You thought the car wasn't going to be able to go anymore, but the driver decided they were going to keep going. At this point, we have only seen this driver.
He didn't want that car itself.
Right
I think he was just escaping it.
North in Woodland Hills, about 75 miles away from where this all started in Riverside. You wonder, you can see CHP is behind him because, as you mentioned, you do see the blue and red lights right behind. But that I'm surprised to see that bumper still hanging on only by one portion of this vehicle here.
Those
bumpers are pretty heavy.
And that bumper coming off during a pit maneuver, we're going to be showing that again. Look at this, what happened here. This is really what slowed down the pursuit, is when this driver first hit an embankment there on an off-ramp, and then officers finally felt that they had a good chance to do this pit maneuver.
I have to move around.
And you can see here, it creates quite a bit of damage to the car. We see the tire fall off. Here we go again. When he hits that embankment, you see sparks fly. Most likely a lot of damage done to the bottom of that car. And here we go with that pit maneuver. Only the fourth time Desmond said he's seen this happen on a freeway, but this is a dangerous suspect that they want to bring into custody.
And what a great time for officers to do that pit maneuver, right? No one was around. The suspect was finally slowing down. CHP trains for these. We know they're the
this guy's been stalling the fuck out.
Pursuits the best, not taking away from any other agencies. They just train for it the most. So that was the perfect timing for that pit maneuver, except it didn't do enough damage to stop that vehicle.
I bet it's better. Yeah, do we have Chris tonight or not?
4 Freeway West, and now in Woodland Hills, approaching Ventura County, and you can see some damage on this car. That was
Chris, man.
A pit maneuver performed by a California Highway Patrol officer just about 5 or so minutes ago, and for a brief moment, the car came to a stop facing sideways on the freeway. 3 units pulled up.
He's not off on Wednesdays. They actually pull him out of his sleep.
But the driver with at least one flat tire, possibly more. We can't get a great view of the left side of this vehicle, but the right front tire, we believe, is flat. Was able to re-engage the vehicle and put it back in motion.
Chris is on the chase when it's 7 a.m.,
I believe
7 p.m., 3 a.m. He's on that chase. They actually pick him up.
Scraping behind him. That was caused by the pit maneuver. It took it off. The left side, you can see, was dislodged, and the rest of it came off shortly. It is just hanging on now by some wiring. It's likely the wiring that attaches to the lights and the blinkers there, or if a piece of plastic, I can see, and there it goes. So back bumper is now gone. This driver definitely has a flat tire on the right front. We are curious whether the left front is flat as well, but still maintaining decent control of this vehicle.
Impressive. This thing hasn't ripped yet.
70 miles an hour. Not able to stay in the lane there, but you don't see any of that kind of swishtailing that we see at times with drivers going at high speeds, running on flat tires down to the rim and down to the metal. We did see a flash of sparks at one point shortly before the pit maneuver. So
my armpit's staining the what?
The police or California Highway
Bro, I don't
Patrol
sweat out of my arms ever.
A spike strip, which it looks like was at least partially effective, as this driver is on basically down to the rim on the right front. And so that was effective. The car careened towards the right shoulder. Sparks flew. It went over some kind of bump or ditch, catching a little bit of air, it looked like, but was able to regain partial control. But the driver did come down to slower speeds at that point. But that was when the pit maneuver was performed. I'm curious about what we're seeing at the rear of the car, whether that is a light that was on the bumper that now is just kind of swinging freely because the bumper is now gone. But you can see a flash of white behind the car that seems to be moving awkwardly. But pursuing officers from the California Highway Patrol are continuing this on the 101 freeway into Calabasas and Ventura County, and something might be happening now. If we could zoom back in, it looks like for a moment it looked like they were headed towards the shoulder of the road. I don't see it. But onward we go, westbound, and you can see those lights at the rear of the car. Here we go, some sparking from the right front wheel down to the rim, and that has to be felt inside the car as well as the car, the driver hits the brakes.
What is that?
But back on the throttle, and here we go, lighting up the 101 freeway with sparks down to the metal on the front right tire.
Bro.
Or the front right wheel, the tire is long gone, as is the bumper on this car. Again, this began in Riverside about an hour ago.
It's the wrong, guys, it's the wrong, it's a double shirt.
Than an hour ago,
guys,
and has traveled.
It's a double shirt.
At least
I have it. 2 shirts.
4 counties. Riverside,
one's yellow. Like,
San
what the
Bernardino,
fuck?
LA into Ventura County. I don't think they dipped down into
what is wrong with
County, as far as they got. That was just before we picked up with Air 7 HD. But again, back over to the right, not much traffic to speak of, which is good news for safety's concern and for the pursuing officers. It just adds another element of uncertainty and danger when you're
this is
pursuing
my
a
second
car like
shirt.
this and you don't know what's going to happen. You want as few people around as possible. And that looks like the situation that these California Highway Patrol officers are encountering here. Down to 50 miles an hour here in lane number 2. And still able to maintain control enough to stay in one lane for the most part. Now, as they swing around here, we'll get a much better look at the left side of this vehicle to see what the status is of those 2 tires. We know the right front tire is completely gone. He is down to the rim, and we saw sparks flying a moment ago. But again, we don't know the status of those other 2 tires, whether he's driving on 3 functional tires.
Hey, Dwight Peters, point. 2 minutes until
down to nothing in the front and a little bit of control in the back. So again, varying speeds at this point now, dipping below 50 miles an hour. Officers still in pursuit, but it looks like we are again slowing down. It doesn't necessarily mean a ton to see a driver like this slow down, but slow enough to perform another pit maneuver just stepped on the gas to get away enough. But that officer was looking to perform pit maneuver number 2 and back on the throttle.
On the rim, bro.
55 approaching 60 miles an hour here, but it can't last like this for much longer. The way this car is deteriorating down to the rim,
see what he's going to do when he gets out of the car.
What we're seeing right now, where you get locked into this position and drivers lose control. They'll head over to one side of the road or the other, unable to really maintain control, but still going relatively straight.
I'll log in with tsunami time.
Pace right now. 70 miles an hour is not an easy thing to maneuver here in a car in this position. But onward we go. Something just popped. So it looks like that wheel might now be completely deteriorating, but something popped on that right front wheel, and we saw a couple more sparks, and it looked like a little bit of a struggle to maintain control. But onward we go. Okay, so while you're watching us on this stream, we are approaching the 11 o'clock hour, and we do have some business to take care of before we get on the air for Eyewitness News at 11.
Nobody cares about Eyewitness, man. This just sucks.
Air, or you can continue to stream, and we, of course, You'll be able to catch all of our newscasts on abc7.com and on our ABC7 Los Angeles app. So we're going to take a break here. You should still be able to catch the action, what is going on here in this pursuit.
This is the overlap broadcast. It's fine. It's not even going to swap.
Eyewitness News at 11 on air and online. We'll see you in just a bit.
It's fine. This is the overlap broadcast. Like, this is their live shit, and it's over it. And the main broadcast, they cycle some shit in and out, right? So he's just saying this for the people that are watching on the main channel that has all the things. Because it's layered. Unless I'm brain dead.
Breaking news, this pit maneuver not the end of a dangerous carjacking pursuit. The daring escape with Air 7 HD overhead. We will take it to you live. Plus, Valentine's Day horror, a body found.
Eyewitness News, what the fuck?
And then we will join you once again for Eyewitness News at 11 on air and
Channel 2 momentarily.
Bro, don't do it, bro. No, it's not worth
So
it.
if you can turn the
Brother,
dial
do
to
not.
Channel 2. We'll be on Channel 2. And I believe Desmond is going to get resituated there. You are watching KCAL News at 11 on CBS Los Angeles. And we do have breaking news for you. CHP is in pursuit of a carjacking suspect. That carjacking suspect also has a felony warrant out for his arrest. We understand that this person carjacked a vehicle that we believed belonged to his girlfriend, and she possibly called this in. This started in the city of Riverside, and now, as you can see there, it is way past. It's in Agoura now, and he's still heading northbound on the 101 freeway. So no telling where this could end up. He could end up going on the 26th, going. It is way past. It's in Agoura now, and he's still heading northbound on the 101 freeway. So no telling where this could end up. He could end up going on the 26th, going to Moore Park.
Same thing, but he's gonna fucking show my ex or some shit. I'm telling you.
Wonder just how far this car can go. We know CHP is behind. I believe the sheriff's deputies are overhead in the chopper, but we have Desmond Shaw, who is live in SkyCal, who could give us more information. Des?
Yeah, Pat Boy, we sure have covered a lot of distance here, and it does seem like this car might be deciding that it has had enough, as we know that they're down to only, oh boy, we're coming in with another pit maneuver, another pit attempt. 2 in one night here, so the 4th and 5th time I've ever seen it. Let's see if they're going to try to pin him in right here. Indeed, they smash him right in the front and up against a pole right there. They said no more of this. Enough is enough. They want to get this person into custody. CHP not messing around on this one. On the northbound 101 as
Damn!
They just came right up and just nabbed this person.
Wow.
It's so rare to see that. To come up and put themselves in harm's way. They must have known that the suspect did not have a weapon. They did not waste any time rushing up, yanking the suspect.
Go to their trunk, bro. Hello?
Now in handcuffs.
You know what? Wow, Desmond, this was pretty incredible to watch here. You wonder, maybe if they were on the phone.
Pop it, bro. Come on, let's go.
Maybe she possibly gave them information saying that he didn't have a weapon. But look, they just,
there you go.
say,
my God.
did another pit maneuver.
I mean, they are just kind of slow. It's fucking scary.
Out of the car, having enough. Enough is enough. And that's your CHP for you.
Yo.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we always say that CHP tends to be the most aggressive with these situations, and they just showed it with not 1 but 2 pit maneuvers. We had wide open roadway. There were very few cars on the road.
Dude.
A lot of asphalt. The suspect was only at about 40.
So I think that ram is meant to damage the engine.
So they made that calculated decision. Let's make another attempt to bring this to an end. Fortunately, you know, the vehicle spun around and there was no opportunity for the suspect to get away, as they got kind of pinned between this light pole right here, and they moved in with their own vehicle, pinned them in, and then to rush out like that, and just like that, we go from, you know, what was turning into a slow speed pursuit to a code 4 situation. They are now giving this the all clear. No one else is in the vehicle, and this carjacking and domestic violence suspect that came out of Riverside is now